Yeah. So the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita was that segue where Krishna spoke about different types of worshippers, and he used three words in that. The three words that were Ekatvena, Prithakvena, and Bahuda Vishwatomukha. So he said there are different types of worshippers. Some worship in Ekatva form, some worship in Pratak. Pratak means different forms. And then Vishwatomukha. Vishwatomukha means the universal form. So Krishna chose to speak about the last point, which is Vishwatomukam, in the last four verses. 16 to 19 is what he did that. Last week we went through. If you want, we can go over the translations alone. One of you can read the translations from 15th onwards till 19th.
Could I read the translation,
I
Mataji?
can read.
Mridula?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
please.
Mataji.
That's okay, David.
Okay, thanks, Mataji. Translation or just the purport, Mataji?
Just the purports,
Okay.
15 to 19.
Okay. This verse is a summary of the previous verses. The Lord tells Arjuna that those who are purely in Krishna
Did
consciousness.
I say purports? Only translations. Did I say purport? Sorry.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
the translations.
Okay, Mataji. Others who engage in sacrifice by the cultivation of knowledge worship the Supreme Lord as the one without a second, as diverse in many and in the universal form. Text 16 translation. But it is I who am the ritual, and the sacrifice, the offering to the ancestors, the healing herb, the transcendental chant. I am the butter and the fire and the offering. Text 17 translation. I am the father of this universe, the mother, the support, and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge, the purifier, and the syllable Om. I am also the Rig, the Sama, and the Yajurvedas. Text 18 translation. I am the goal, the sustainer, the master, the witness, the abode, the refuge, and the most dear friend. I am the creation and the annihilation, the basis of everything, the resting place, and the eternal seed. Text 19 translation. O Arjuna, I give heat, and I withhold and send forth the rain. I am immortality, and I am also death personified. Both spirit and matter are in me.
So he spoke about different ways in which he manifests, which is he gives heat, he gives rain. He sometimes withhold rain, sometimes sends rain. His immortality is also dispersonified, his matter and spirit, both like that. He spoke about the universal aspect of him in the last four verses, 16 to 19. Now, 20 onwards, is going to speak about the different demigod worshippers, like Pratakvena is that word, right? So he'll speak about different ways as people worship different demigods, and what is Krishna's opinion about demigod worship. We all know about it from 7th chapter. He has spoken about it, that there are demigod worshippers, but that's not what I recommend. I want them to worship me, is what he says in 7th chapter also. But in more greater detail, he's going to speak about that and giving a lot of assurance to the devotees. Like what will happen when a devotee goes to him alone for worshipping. So let's read the 20th verse onwards. I will recite and then I will ask someone to repeat as well. Mridula, you can start with you again. Text 20.
Okay, Mataji.
Vidya mam somapa puta papa.
Traividya mam soma pa puta papa.
Yagnerishtva swar gatim prartayante.
Yajnairištva svarga gatim prartayante.
Te punyam asadhya surendra lokam.
Te punyam asadhya surendra lokam.
Ashanti divyan divideva bhogan.
Ashanti divyan divideva bhogan.
Thank you. Those who study the Vedas and drink the Soma juice, seeking the heavenly planets, worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy godly delights. So Krishna is saying those who study the Vedas, these other types of worshippers, and they also drink Soma juice, some people, They seek the heavenly planets, because we know by doing the worshipping of the Vedas, following the regulative principles in the Karma Kanda of the Vedas, one goes to the higher planetary systems. And they will also get to drink soma juice in those higher planetary system like Indraloka, Chandraloka, that. They worship me indirectly. Purified of sinful reactions, they take birth on the pious heavenly planet of Indra, where they enjoy Godhead. We have seen the cycle of karma also. Like once you do these regulative principles so nicely, karmakandic rituals, slowly the soul will ascend to the higher planetary systems, and then finally they will reach to the heaven, which is Indra's topmost planet, Indraloka. They will reach there and they will also enjoy there. So what Krishna is saying, that is an indirect worship. Okay. Let's read the purport also. Yes. Yeah. Oh, you can continue, Radula. For this one, we'll go take down.
Okay, Mataji. Purport. The word Trividya refers to the three Vedas, Sama, Yajur, and Rig. A Brahmana who has studied these three Vedas is called a Tri, Trivedi. Trivedi. Anyone who is very much attached to knowledge derived from these three Vedas is respected in society. Unfortunately, there are many great scholars of the Vedas who do not know the ultimate purport of studying them. Therefore, Krishna herein declares himself to be the ultimate goal of the Trivedis. Actually, Trivedis take shelter under the lotus feet of Krishna and engage in pure devotional service to satisfy the Lord. Devotional service begins with the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra and side by side trying to understand Krishna in truth. Unfortunately, those who are simply official students of the Vedas become more interested in offering sacrifices to the different demigods like Indra and Chandra. By such endeavor, the worshippers of different demigods are certainly purified of the contamination of the lower qualities of nature and are thereby elevated to the higher planetary systems or heavenly planets known as Maharloka, Janaloka, Tapaloka, etc. Once situated on those higher planetary systems, one can satisfy his senses hundreds of thousands of times better than on this planet.
So there are people who recite their Veda Patana. They do that. Actually, so they are sometimes called Trivedis. They are sometimes called, if they have read three Vedas, they are called Trivedi. Sometimes they are Divedis. They have only recited two Vedas. Sometimes you see their names, they are ending with Trivedi, Chaturvedis. There would be some colleagues' names, or somewhere you would have found these names. At least Indian population, you will find Trivedi, Dvivedi, and Chaturvedi. So these are their ancestors. They would have read these Vedas, and that's how their names come upon, and they continue into the future generations. But none of these people may be even drinking wine and eating meat also, but still they have such names. I have seen such people with these names, Trivedi, Chaturvedi, Vivedis, but still they are regular, like normal. Even though they have studied, their ancestors have studied Vedas, nothing has come down upon them, because this is very subjective, right? Like they have read Vedas, and unless they have understood the Vedescha Sarme Mahavema Vedyo, Krishna will speak about that particular line in the 15th chapter. But I'm just telling you, because Krishna has to be the ultimate, Prabhupada is given it already, the ultimate goal of reading is to know Krishna himself. Some devotees like Trivedis take shelter of the lotus feet of engage in pure devotional service, but not everyone will do that. So these people will elevate themselves to the higher planets, upper and upper. After we have seen that in that 14 planetary systems, after the heaven comes, after we ascend it into the higher planets, after Bhuvar Loka, the Bhu Mandala, Bhu Loka, where we are residing. Upper is the heavenly planets, and beyond that are the even higher planetary system, which are Janaloka, Tapaloka, Maharloka, and finally Brahmaloka. So they are even higher and higher. So the qualification has to become higher and higher to go upper and upper into the planetary areas. But devotees are interested in going to Krishna Loka, not these. So, but these people who are trying to read Vedas and understand Krishna through that, but not necessarily chanting Hare Krishna. They are doing some form of worship, and then they ascend to the higher planets. What Prabhupada has given, I can't even comprehend what kind of worship that would be, because we are exposed to this worship where Prabhupada has given us to read the scriptures, chant Hare Krishna, do deity worship simply at home. I can't even know what is the other type of worship that many people do. So I have no practical experience of that. If anybody has, they can share, so that we can all understand how things happen uh, in general population. Like if you are exposed to this in your families, coming down in your family circles. If not, we are okay. So this is where they recite these Vedas, they understand Krishna or some form of spirit in a better way, and then ascend into and so there they get more heavenly enjoyments. The enjoyment there is much more than what they can find here. So like that, this happens. Trivedis, Trivedis, and Chaturvedis. Was there a question? I heard a. Did anybody ask a question? Or you want to say something?
Like Mataji, you lifted the hand.
Palak Mataji. Yeah, Palak.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Mataji, just for my knowledge, what is Soma juice?
Soma Ras is there in the Chandraloka. So sometimes Chandra is also called as Soma. His name is Soma, and he drinks a particular type of juice called Soma juice, and that is produced in the Chandraloka. And that is the juice with which the planets, the vegetables and the fruits will get their nourishment. That is the juice through which, because of the Chandra, like, did we come upon that verse anytime in the Bhagavad Gita so far? No, that comes in the 15th chapter, where Krishna says that this is the Soma juice to which the flowers and the fruits get their nourishment. So Chandra gives that to the plants, that's why on the full moon day, you see there are a lot of, this all interrelated, like each one has their service. Sunlight, planet sun gives us the sun, heat and light and so much. And moon gives the nourishment to the fruits and vegetables. That's why the fruits and vegetables get that particular taste. And such unique taste, such taste you don't find anywhere else. Artificially, you cannot make such taste. You can have imitation of something, but for example, there is artificial sweeteners, artificial things. They are imitating based on the natural thing, which is like a fruit or a vegetable, right? That uniqueness cannot be recreated, cannot be imitated, and that is coming from Soma. Soma gives that particular rasa or the taste into these vegetables and fruits. That is his specific duty in the universal functioning. So that is how it happens. So that's juice is available to the people who go there also, looks like. So they can also drink and become very happy and elated and satisfied, however.
Is available on like Earth by some
No,
ceremony?
no,
Can we
no, we don't have it here.
Okay.
We get wine here.
Okay. And another question. I want to know that in India we have this culture of either worshipping demigods or anybody, right? Krishna or whoever people like to worship. But in other countries where none of this is there, and it's not necessary that they are monists, right? They are worshipping to Jesus, let's just say. So where do they end up? Because Jesus is not a demigod, I believe. And where do they go?
That can be a little controversial topic to speak here, but nevertheless, I will just say it. So we have Vedas, and someone following the demigod worshippers from India, like from our background, they're still fine. They are on the right path because they are backed up by the scriptures. They are backed up by the Vedas. Vedas prescribe that. Vedas only prescribe the demigod worship. Like when Vyasadeva wrote the Vedas, these 4 Vedas is divided, like one single Veda he divided into 4. Each one has some specific purpose. So Rig, Sama, Yajur, Atharvana Vedas. And within that, those Vedas, he wrote some Puranas. And within the Puranas is prescribed like this God Purana, that God Purana, before he even came to revisit Ambala Purana, Bhagavad Purana. But before that, he wrote 18 Puranas, 17 Puranas, 18th is the Bhagavad Purana. Within that, there are prescriptions for doing certain worship to certain demigod, certain devata, to get certain benefit. These are all prescribed in the Vedas, then they are authorized. Although we don't recommend, because that is a staircase process, you go after that. I mean, there is birth, death, old age, and disease in that places also. It may be too long for one person to experience, but it's still there. Like even Brahma planet will be annihilated, right? So there is birth, death, old age, and disease. So they're still on the right path. But other than that, even impersonal is on the right track, because you go to impersonal Brahma Jyoti, which is still within the planetary systems. It may not be the topmost, but still on the right track, because it is there in the Vedas. Anything other than that is not recommended. We don't know where they go. And that Krishna also speaks about that in the 12th chapter, when he says the impersonal is still fine because they are going to Brahma Jyoti, but this is unmanifested. They say it's very hard for them to understand a personal aspect of it. So it is not authorized as per the Vedas. So we don't know what happened. They are part of the regular karma conditions apply, and then that's how it is. Like at some point they have a slight desire, then they come into the track of doing the Vedic studies and Vedic evolvement onto the understanding the Lord, the supremacy of the Lord through the Vedas, and then that's all. And you can imagine the good fortune of the people who are directly trying to go on the path of Krishna consciousness, because we have removed all those layers. So many layers have been taken off from the path. We don't want that. We don't want this. Just follow this path. And even we simply speak that it's an elevator path or process, not knowing the depth of it. Although for saying, for the sake of it, it is staircase process, this is elevator process, Krishna consciousness, without knowing the depth, how much of layers have been taken off from that process, we don't know. And only when we know into the depth of what people do to worship certain form of spirituality, then only we know where we are and where we stand, like how fortunate we are to be able to go on this path. Like that. Srinivas Prabhu, you have something to add?
The same question actually what Palak Mataji asked, I asked in my beginning days. And because
Who did you ask?
so I asked to one of the senior devotees,
Okay.
like Radheshan Prabhu in
Rajesh.
particular, Radheshan Prabhu, and because I was very like, okay, I came to Krishna consciousness, what about my friends who are Christians and Muslims, right? I slightly asked this question. So they are Muslims, and so over a period of time, like that time Radheshan Prabhu gave one answer. Then recent update is that when we closely study, because I am also kind of studying the Abrahamic religions, like what they exactly teach. So what we understand is basically they are just trying to bring them to to live moral with proper morals. If we see them, and they have a judgment day. So the judgment day, how it was explained by Radheshan Prabhu is like, even like in every birth, when we leave this body, we go to Yamalok first. Yamdharmaraj is there. He's give the judgment. Like they will analyze whatever. I'm not talking about devotees, pure devotees, or the devotees who complete their Swarupa Siddhi and come back to Godhead. In general, even in Hindu Sanatana Dharma followers who are doing karma kanda, demigod worship, like Krishna says, you go. Even somebody is worshipping a demigod. First thing is we will be produced if you are not fully Krishna consciousness or complete our journey. So we will be produced once we are on a karmic level, good karma, bad karma. So will be produced before. So judgment day is nothing but the soul will be taken to Yamdharmaraj. And he will be explained, okay, this is the good karma, what you did, this is the pious karma and impious activities. And the soul will be asked whether you want to enjoy your, good karma, then you will be elevated to heavenly planets. then you'll come and suffer in the hellish planets. Then the nature will avoid the body. So in hellish planets, we will be trained in that body before we take the gross body and come back to the earth, because earth is a place where we do again karma, and where we have an opportunity whether to exhaust, burn out all the karma by following authentic processes which has been available across the world. So in there, and again, the very interesting subject matter here is, even for Jesus Christ, I don't want to talk about Prophet Muhammad. So if we take Jesus Christ, he knows everything clearly. He says, even in mentions in his teachings, there is much more to tell you, but they were not able to tolerate when they have been given a very basic morals. They just crucified him, right? So it was the case. So why this, again, the follow-up question what I had was, why there are so many religions are different. So it was mentioned like Krishna want to elevate. I remember we read, Mataji explained us also in one of the slokas. Prabhupada mentions, when Krishna comes, because it is indirectly his responsibility when everything is in chaos. Krishna comes by himself to set everything in order. So Krishna sends his representatives, his associates, or his servants based on the time, place, and circumstances. So one example I was given, and I was totally convinced. I always give this example to everybody. Like, for example, ABCD, we learn A for apple like that, E for elephant, and also E for E is equal to MC squared. There's a formula. It's a very higher one. So if we understand, if the Abrahamic religions, they try to establish very basic fundamental morals. If we observe the teachings of Jesus Christ, he says, like, you have the wealth which is not eaten by the moth, which is not get rusted by the air. So he was talking about, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So he was trying to bring, because that time people were kind of looting everybody, and literally, like, doing all the nonsense activities and exploiting people, using their power, and so these things were going on. So he was trying, even for that, they said, how dare you explain, you say that what we are doing is wrong, and they decided to crucify him, right? So long story short, so these, again, we have to understand one thing. The principle is the desire of a living entity. I just give this example and I'll stop. Once I was talking, like, one devotee was telling, like Nirjala Ekadasi, sometime we do, or Ekadasi, we also see the timings. Ekadasi from morning 5 to so and so time, and we take. So one devotee asked, "Oh, the Ekadasi starts at 5 o'clock. Can we have our lunch or something before that?" And he said, "Oh, you can have. Next time you'll become a Muslim. You do like that, because they do their fasting like that, right? They'll eat, then they'll fast the day, and in the evening they'll break it." So it again the soul's desire to enjoy, and that soul will be based on the past karmic account. That soul will be given even to enjoy something which is not good for the soul. Even that needs good karmic account, because it will be exploiting, right? So that is the sum and substance of how the things work and what happens to them, because they decide to have such a kind of lifestyle. Then they were given opportunity to take birth in those families. Thank you, Mataji.
So, Prabhu, can I say that this is my understanding from what you said, that on the grounds of their karma, who are non-Indians and who are not worshipping any demigods or are not in Krishna consciousness, so for them, based on their karma, they can still go to heavenly planets. It's not necessary to. It's not necessary to worship the demigod of that planet.
If they do, but again, Prabhupada time and again mentions the enjoyment in heaven is million times. But the thing is, like, we have to again come back when we exhaust. It's like a LTA, leave travel allowance. They may go, but what is the use? Again, you come back, and we don't know what kind of. Now we are fortunate. We have association, we have devotees, we have Mataji to teaching us. Like, we joined in this course. We have the Guru Parampa established, but there will be certain places where we come, but probably we will not have any scope for spirituality. Then again, 8.5 million births and all, right? So these we can degrade further. That's a threat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So this is the piety, like anybody can do piety, like helping others, doing some good activity, opening schools, college. How much of piety they are getting? Like, it's all pious activity, opening a hospital. How many people are getting benefited by that? They're getting that into their bank account, in their account of piety. And then they will make that progress. And then they will be given the chance to enjoy wherever they're enjoying. We don't know, they might go to Swarga also, like Indra's planet also, because of that much of piety they have accrued. We don't know. So they can go there. But then what will they do there? Oh, everywhere we have to do devotion service, in the beginning, in the middle, at the end, throughout the time of eternity. If we are in the Krishna consciousness, performing wherever you are, you can do. But these people's thought process is to enjoy. Once it is enjoyed, drop down from there. That once the account is over, you cannot for a minute stay there. Just drop. And we saw that, how the process is. Right? In Bhagavad Gita has given us everything clearly. So this is the process. If you are on the Vedic studies, Vedic process is still good because they are prescribed in the Vedas and you just ascend in that, going into that line. Next verse, Palak, you can recite.
Yes.
Tetam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam.
Etam bhuktva swargalokam vishalam.
Shine punyamartyalokam vishanti.
Shine punyamartya lokam vishanti.
Evam ratri dharmam anuprapanna.
Evam trai dharmam anuprapanna.
Gatagatam kama kama labante.
Gatagatam kama kama labante.
So when they have thus enjoyed vast heavenly sense pleasure and the results of their pious activities are exhausted, they return to this mortal planet again. Thus, those who seek sense enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth and death. See, whatever we have read or understood or discussed, whatever Krishna said, we have already read, and we are trying to discuss the same thing. So again, one more time it is coming up. Please read the purport.
Yes, Mataji. One who is promoted to the higher planetary system enjoys a longer duration of life and better facilities for sense enjoyment, yet one is not allowed to stay there forever. One is again sent back to this earth upon finishing the resultant fruits of pious activities. He who has not attained perfection of knowledge, as indicated in the Vedanta Sutra, Janmade Shreyataha, or in other words, he who fails to understand Krishna, the cause of all causes, becomes baffled about achieving the ultimate goal of life and is subjected to the routine of being promoted to the higher planets and then again coming down as if situated on a Ferris wheel, which sometimes goes up and sometimes comes down. The purport is that instead of being elevated to the spiritual world, from which there is no longer any possibility of coming down, one simply revolves in the cycle of birth and death on higher and lower planetary systems. One should better take to the spiritual world to enjoy an eternal life full of bliss and knowledge and never return to this miserable material existence.
Prabhupada is saying, go to that spiritual world where there is continuous, eternal, full life or full of bliss, knowledge, and never return to the miserable conditions. But everywhere else, even if you go to the topmost planetary system, once the resultant pious activities are finished, they will return to this planet Earth. Because on the planet Earth, there is karma. That means you can make good karma in planet Earth, you can do bad karma. And what does it speak about the spiritual, the planets of these demigods, the higher Indraloka, Chandraloka? In there, it is only consumption. Consumption is happening. Whereas you are in the planet Earth where we are creating, and we are creating here. We can create good karma and bad karma. Whereas in the upper planetary system, it's only consumed. There's no creation. Like you either you do devotional service or you exhaust your pious activity. When you do devotional service, you go up. When you exhaust there is no piety there, because that is the place where they are all pious. You cannot get more pious there in that sense. So you go upper and upper in the cycle of food planetary systems. So that was it. So it was very clear from this verse where Krishna is saying these resultant pious activities are exhausted and they return to this planet Earth. That means there is only exhaustion of these pious activities. And those who seek enjoyment by adhering to the principles of the three Vedas achieve only repeated birth. So speaking about the Vedic study, the Vedic school people, where they want to study Vedas and understand God in that way. So they go up, and there is repeated birth and death, and they come down, and so on. So that's what this particular verse is. Then next, Krishna speaks about a very, very nice verse, which is talking about the pure devotion aspect of it. Within the realm of the putting people, worshippers of the various, he's speaking about this verse, which is a very beautiful verse, often quoted to give how much confidence is there in Krishna's worship, what Krishna is giving assurance, a lot of hope for people. The verse is, who will recite? Debbie, you can say. Ananyas chintayantyo mam.
Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ye jana paryupasate.
Ye jana paryupasate.
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam.
Tesham nitya abhiyuktanam.
Yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Yogoshemam vahamyam aham.
But those who always worship me with exclusive devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So this is Krishna's assurance. To those, although you worship other demigods, you do Vedic study and so on, but those who worship me with the exclusive devotion on my transcendental form, that is Krishna's transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack. Carry means he will, if something is missing, he will add that. And he will, whatever we already have, he keeps on preserving it. So whatever we don't have it, he will add it. And what we have, he will continue to preserve it. So that's what is such a big assurance. Let's read the verse translation. Sorry, the purport. Read it.
One who's unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours a day, being engaged in devotional service by hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies, which make the devotee perfect in self-realization, so that his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such a devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to the material condition of life. Kshema refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable conditioned life.
So the yoga and kshema. Yoga, we understand from various other studies that it is linking process. So if you link something to the Lord, that is yoga. Kshema is protection. So he will help you to link yourself to him as well, because that is the yoga is, we go and approach Krishna. And what kshema is, what Krishna shows upon us. So as long as we, like these processes of hearing, chanting, remembering, offering, worshipping, serving, lotus feet of the Lord is like we are linking ourselves with the Lord. So wherever we lack in that, Krishna will help us fulfill that. Yoga is when we lack something, he will give us the strength. Like you do one step, Krishna says 100 steps. What does it mean? You want to say, go to the temple. Then everything will be arranged in a way that you will be able to go to the temple. So many things are there. Like it's not just you are going to the temple. There's so many things. Everyone else should agree. Car should have gas. There should not be ice on the road. Temple should be open. And so many things have been arranged for you to go to the temple. Right? And temple should be open at that time. Even though temple is open, it might be closed, but it is open because you wanted to go, because that falls in that timeline. So there are so many things that are happening. So this is what yoga. Krishna is taking care of that. He is helping you to become attached to him. That is yoga. Yoga and kshema is, he is ensuring, he is giving his mercy so that you can become attached to yoga. So yoga is what you offer. Kshema is what Krishna offers to you. So yoga and kshema. So he gives you whatever you're giving, he will make it full. That's why he carry what you lack, and he preserves. So by your, what do you lack? You don't lack Krishna. You lack Krishna consciousness. So you're chanting, remembering, hearing, and doing all that. So by that, you're trying to link to him. So he will ensure that it happens. And by giving his protection in the form of Kshema, that is his mercy. So the Lord helps us. So how nicely Prabhupada has put what does yoga and Kshema means. Yoga is where devotee undoubtedly approaches the Lord without difficulty. We are able to approach him without difficulty. Yoga is linking process. We have heard the definition of yoga, right? Yoga means to link. You would have seen that. It is a generic definition. Yoga means to link. So we are able to link to the Lord, and that is Krishna's mercy. So these go together, hand in hand, yoga and Kshema. And that is Krishna's assurance. If you undeviatedly worship on me alone, if you meditate on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So what does it worship means? Someone was asking, what does it means to do that? So all these, what we have in Bhagavad Gita are packed. The verses are like mantras. They are all packed. How it gets unpacked is Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam unpacks. Like, what do you mean by meditate on transcendental form? How do you do that? So that is your thinking of Krishna. How there is a process on how to think, how to worship. Go on the lotus feet and then move all the way up to unto lotus face. That is not in here, right? Is it there in Bhagavad Gita? That's not it. Krishna is only speaking that do this meditation upon my transcendental form. So that's like a hidden thing. It's a pact. Now Bhagavatam expands on it. So it expands. It unpacks how to do this. Right? So meditation is how it is said that you meditate, but Bhagavatam gives you, so this is where you need to know. You should have the preliminary faith. This is faith building. Oh, I need to meditate on Krishna. I am 100% on that. So that's my faith. So we go with that faith. And then when we keep doing whatever way we are doing, Krishna will fulfill it. Krishna will complete it. Initially, we might have just started with chanting one round. And whatever pictures we had at home, we might have worshipped those only. But slowly, because of your interest and desire to make more further progress to Krishna in this process, you'll slowly elevate to next 2 rounds, 4 rounds, like that. And your pictures on the altar also change. If you have noticed, when you first come into Krishna consciousness, it will be some way pictures, and then slowly the pictures change. Guru Parampara will come, Narsimdev will come, Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Radha, Krishna, Gaurita, everyone will come. So that's your slowly process, like how this is where you continue to build on that process of Krishna consciousness. And we make progress. So this is very, very assurance giving. So someone don't know what to do, but Krishna is giving you do exclusive devotion unto me. I will protect everything that you have and give you what you lack also. Who wants to raise their hand? Yeah, Shalini.
Mataji, this is so revealing. I knew this verse all along, and my understanding of this verse was totally different. I thought I was always reminded of this verse in material context. Just today, you opened up my eyes that this is not material. This is at another level, linking to the Lord. And whatever you said, when you start out, your altar has just one picture. Actually, that's totally true with me. I had no idea. Gradually, Bal Gopal came to me. Then Gaura Nitai deities came to me. So you've just opened up my eyes. Thank you so much.
Yeah, this is how it happens. It's not, I have experienced this. Whatever I've experienced, I'm just telling you. Exactly, this is what happened with me. Only thing is that we want to do this. Have that little bit desire. Even someone who has not been, like, for this study to happen, at least there is a minimum rounds to be chanted, right? 8 rounds, if I remember correctly. This is what they said. But some of you are already initiated, so you're all chanting. But some who has minimum rounds to chant is 8 rounds. But this can help us to make more progress to chant 16 rounds or however number, more than 8 probably, just to increase in that make slow progress. So Krishna is there to guide us, to help us, to bring us step by step towards him. Right? This is faith building verse. So I was telling to Palak, I think few weeks back or maybe last 2 classes, that just hold on to this chapter. There are a lot of verses coming up, more jewel verses coming up. This is one such. There's one more, two more, three, four more verses that are coming up, which are very, very faith building. And Krishna doesn't ask a lot. We'll conclude with that verse now today, I think. See 26. Krishna doesn't ask a lot. He is just keeping it very simple. Well, let's go to that. Yeah. You want to ask on the same lines?
I mean, related to what you said, Mataji, not from the verse. So you said that Bhagavad Gita is the fact and Bhagavatam is the detail. And I agree to it. And given that I'm reading Bhagavatam, it's very difficult to connect the dots between Gita and Bhagavatam. Right? Is there any course which we have which basically says that, okay, let's read first verse of Gita and then let's find more details about it in Bhagavatam? Do we have any such course or readings like that?
See, context of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam, let's hear. First, context of Bhagavad Gita is it was spoken on the battlefield for Arjuna to bringing him to help him to fight the battle. And Krishna spoke a lot of details for a person to hear on the battlefield. He spoke, look at the detail he's speaking. So many details he spoke, and we'll be going to speak a lot more. So the context here is to just ensure him, to bring him, build his faith also to do his duty, because that's what he is supposed to do. Whereas Bhagavatam is the stories. There are 12 cantos, stories of the different devotees. And that is nourishing also, in the sense like how each story is coming up. What is their consciousness? What do they want? These devotees who are talking in the Bhagavatam, what has been discussed in Bhagavatam, what do they want in their lives? How are they approaching towards it? How are the connected stories around it? So that is different context, right? So, but if you read Bhagavatam, every verse, I can vouch for it, not every verse probably, but most of the verse Prabhupada quotes Bhagavad Gita verses. So that way you can relate. Which verse is this? What that is expanding on Bhagavad Gita? Most of the verses. So when you read, if you become familiar with these verses, when you read Bhagavatam, the purports will have these verses sometimes coming up. It will become very easy for you. And these are very simple tune. Bhagavatam has sometimes different tunes, but these are very Anushtu Chandaha. The chanda that we have here are very, very simple. It's two lines, so very simple. But when you go to the other studies, there will be different. So, but Prabhupada definitely quotes lot of verses in Bhagavad Gita. And it is like, wow, oh, wow. Every time you read Bhagavatam, like, wow, this has come up here. And then you go back and read Bhagavad Gita at that time only. And read that translation and purport. And then you see how the connection. So, because the author is same, and Prabhupada's purports are like that. That's where you just read these two scriptures. First read Bhagavad Gita fully, try to understand as much. Then read Bhagavatam, and then go back and refer to Bhagavad Gita. So that way, but the context is different, right? That is stories of devotees of Krishna. Here Krishna is speaking about encouraging Arjuna and all of us to do our duties and offer our selves to him. And devotees there in Bhagavatam are already doing it. How they are doing, in what context they are doing, that is where it builds faith for us more. I hope that made sense. Srinivas Prabhu?
I don't want to add, I want to say one thing to Mataji. Palak Mataji, if you understand Hindi, I can forward you the whole Bhagavatam in Hindi, given by one of the divine personality, His Holiness Gaur Krishna Goswami Maharaj. It is narrated in Hindi. It's very nectarious. Like it's like a story. It's like in just here to just make a sense of it. Not in very, very detail, but he covers all the cantos. So as Mataji said, Bhagavad Gita is a principle and Bhagavatam is details. So honestly, like it is very difficult for us to, I mean, I had the same difficult to understand and to link the dots because 12 cantos, reading, it will take years. But when I heard those, like it gave me a very full picture and it gave me so much encouragement. Like one of the slokas we say, like, to chant more, to associate with devotees, and to feel that wow, like in every moment, it's like a wow moment when we are hearing it. If you understand Hindi, if you want, I can actually share that.
Prabhuji, I'm listening to those nowadays, and they are so addictive. I listen to them every morning. Gaur Krishna Das, right?
Gaur
They are
Krishna
beautiful.
Goswami.
Yeah.
He's
But
Prabhu,
disciple
please
of,
share with all of us at least.
Yeah.
he's a disciple of His Holiness Radha Govind Maharaj. And when I heard it, I said, I want to meet this Maharaj. Then I come to know he left the planet. And he left at a very young age. Like he took sannyas and he left at 50 years and left his body in Vrindavan. And I met his god brother in Canada here. Then I want to know more about that Maharaj. He was sharing and all. So it's such an immense, like, once we hear that, I mean, it pumps you up with Krishna Prem. Like that's such a powerful, like, what I felt is this Maharaj just appeared on this planet to give this to us. That is what the feel I got. Such nourishment. I'm going to share. I'm going to share the link. It's you can download all, or I'll just try to. There are 42 seminar lectures he gave in Mayapur. So we have a link. Either you can download it, or I just see if I can create one link and I can share. You can download directly, or I can share the link. You can download from ISKCON Design. That's. I mean,
Could you put them in the group, Prabhu?
sure,
It will
sure.
help us all.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
So much of knowledge is there within our group itself. Yeah, thanks, Prabhu, for sharing all this. I know
Thank you.
you are a long timer in Krishna consciousness. You're just sitting here to go through this formally. It's not like that's why I always ask you to add input, not to ask a question, because I know you've been here and you're.
There's so much to learn.
our fortune.
Yes. I mean, I feel so excited hearing all the questions, and especially the way you are explaining is like I feel wow, like you completely explains, give the full picture. I feel so inspired. So I feel it's very fortunate to be here. Yes, for sure. I was asked to get the certificate because there is a mission which they want to give me. They said, but unfortunately, I never completed after 4 or 5 attempts because of my other services, work, and everything. But I feel it's a lot of blessing to be in this batch.
And also for me, these questions help me because how much will I say based on the purpose, right? Unless there is something that you want to look at it from a different angle. I'm looking at it from one angle and I'm telling whatever angle I'm aware of. But if there is any, that's why I encourage ask questions. I know we have been told to ask questions at the end, but that way the connectivity between the verses. I know usually when I've attended also Bhakti Shastri, we hear it as a lecture and then we ask questions. Mostly don't questions come up at that time because it comes and Palak is the one who's moving that for us, which is nice. Through her, we are churning those topics that sometimes. And all of you, not just her, right? Many of you are asking questions. I would encourage all of you to share something from your understanding. Maybe we will have a reflection session today. We can go till 7. I'm okay. Only we have to do, we don't have a lot of verses to cover today. 6 only. We are at the next 3 more, unless we have a lot of questions. But we can go through the reflections to see how each one is understanding this Bhagavad Gita. Questions or comments?
It's more of a comment for Palak Mataji or what I also do to understand Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. I also am reading other books by Prabhupada, so Krishna book. That also helps because it's a condensed version of the 10th canto. And when I was reading Krishna books, Mercy of Sachima Mataji, we read they read every day, but I at least read once a week. There was a releasing Nanda Maharaj from the clutches of Varuna Dev, and where Krishna described the spiritual world. And I've read Krishna book multiple times before. It's only because I'm reading Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita again that it makes sense. So sometimes reading other scriptures, everything falls into place. And the more you read it, the more you understand it. Because Prabhupada, even though he's the author, he writes it so beautifully and sometimes differently too. The mood of each book is a bit different. So that helps you understand the concept better. I've also realized when I was reading Science of Self-Realization, also simultaneously, a lot of the verses that we have to memorize in Bhakti Shastri is mentioned there. So Prabhupada's giving a lot of practical examples. So reading his books, those will help us. Those are our guidebooks.
Exactly.
Nothing else do we really need. The other editions are excellent, but even reading his books, everything is there in his books. That's something that I'm learning.
Very nice point, Debbie. Actually,
Thank you
a
very
lot of
much.
other small books Prabhupada has written. Each one he has taken pain to write that book. So the Light of Bhagavad, for example, let me just quote that particular book, Light of Bhagavad. It's also a skinny book, little long, skinny book. That book is about the one of the chapters, which is the when the rainfall falls in Vrindavan, that monsoon season. It's just on that chapter. Prabhupada wrote the entire book for a particular purpose, for a particular requirement. Very beginning days, even before he came to US. You can read that book from that context. He wrote that book for a particular audience in some other country, which didn't happen, but we have that book for our good fortune that we have that. So you can see how Prabhupada has expanded these pearls. He has taken each pearl and glorified it in different ways. And that's a beauty, right? We have other books. If you keep reading other books and go back and refer to Bhagavad Gita, whenever there is any verse reference, go back and read it. That way you will connection with the books within Prabhupada's literatures is very good. So yeah. Srinivas Prabhu.
I hope I've been meditating on this. I just want to share with everybody. I know there are some devotees like Palak Mataji and all, very youngsters and so many questions. There is a course which is called Discover Yourself, available in YouTube. It is Radhesham Prabhu gave it, and it is the icebreaker, I should say, path layer for me to come into Krishna consciousness. It's very scientific. It glorifies the presentations of Prabhupada. It glorifies our Brahmavada Goddess Sampradaya, and everything is explained basis of science actually. How it is. So it's very enriching and inspiring. At the same time, it covers the holistic view of the world of different religions also. Everything is covered in that. It's 7 or 8 days. It is recorded once. We can watch on YouTube. And those are the classes which I also serve. I have been serving for many years, which I also give it. But Bradesham Prabhuji's, I follow the same format. So if somebody is interested, if I can also give the link in our chat, because that clarifies so many questions. Very questions now, questions for future, and questions for future. Like it will help us a lot in various ways. So how the science defines God and how it is mentioned in Bhagavatam, how Prabhupada brought it. So it's kind of a very fascinating journey. It's called Discover Yourself. So if I can also share that link. Since the slokas are less, so I'm just immediately let me also tell this. Today we have some time. So sorry for taking time, Mataji.
That's good. Yeah, you can keep sharing in the WhatsApp group. People will take advantage.
And I just to tell, like, who is Radhesham Prabhuji? He is the Siksha Guru for even Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. And I know Chaitanya Charan Prabhu is well known for all of us here. He often comes to GTA and all. So and he actually nurtured and made so many wonderful brahmacharis all over the world,
Vidula?
Yeah, regarding what Palak Mataji was saying, so the Srimad Bhagavatam, like even I'm keep reading, it's very hard to connect. But in ISKCON group, there's Monday and Thursday Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavatam readings 8 to 8:45. So there many advanced devotees join. So after the class, there is a reflection for like 5 to 10 minutes, and many advanced devotees like how Srinivas Prabhu is throwing lights and connecting. So they even like forgot the Prabhu's name, but he also joins. He's a very senior devotee. He gives lots of lectures in ISKCON Toronto. So so they connect to the Bhagavad Gita, and they talk like how we. So that's very helpful because reading on your own, it's very difficult to connect. But that's kind of Mondays and Thursdays. So and the link is in the. If you want, I can send it to you or in the main group also. But it's in ISKCON Toronto. I think they keep posting every Mondays and Thursdays. That's one, and I think this question and answer book also, as Mataji was also suggesting, the small books are really very helpful. Krishna book is also helpful, and the question and answer book, and this like death after birth and death, and like small books. Even I have bought them; they're very helpful, like in your basic understanding. When we try to understand this analytically and also try to see this logically, keeping the devotion aspect aside, then we get so many questions like this.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Mataji.
A lot of resources we have, a lot of help is there. We can just take that whenever our time suits. Okay. Going on to the text 23. Kish Keshavan Prabhu, can you recite along with me?
Sure, Mataji.
Yeah. Epi anya devata bhakta
Epi anya devata bhakta
yajante shraddhayanvitaha
yajante shraddhayanvitaha
tepi mam eva kaunteya
teti mam eva kaunteya
yajanti avidhi purvakam.
yajanti avidhi purvakam.
Thank you. Those who are devotees of other gods and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti, but they do so in a wrong way. See how Krishna has nicely said everything that we need to hear. So he's saying that you can worship other demigods, fine, but you're actually worshipping me. But it is done in a avidhi purvakam, indirectly. Avidhi is wrong, but we can say we are indirectly worshipping Krishna. Please read the purport also, Prabhu. Krish Prabhu, please read.
Yes, Mataji. Persons who are engaged in worship of demigods are not very intelligent, although such worship is offered to me indirectly. Krishna says, for example, when a man pours water on the leaves and branches of a tree without pouring water on the root, he does so without sufficient knowledge or without observing negative regulative principles. Similarly, the process of rendering service to different parts of the body is to supply food to the stomach. The demigods are, so to speak, different officers and directors in the government of the Supreme Lord. One has to follow the laws made by the government, not by the officers or directors. Similarly, everyone is to offer his worship to the Supreme Lord only. That will automatically satisfy the different officers and directors of the Lord. The officers and the directors are engaged as representatives of God of the government, and to offer some bribe to the officers and directors is illegal. This is stated here as Avidhi Purvakam. In other words, Krishna does not approve the unnecessary worship of demigods. Sorry, Mataji, I was sick, so I was at the doctor's office getting the prescription filled and came late. Sorry, my
Oh,
voice is sore.
oh, I am so sorry for providing no.
No worries. Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you. So the devotees, Krishna is saying that other demigod worship is actually you're worshipping me. And Prabhupada is given two analogies here. One is watering the plant and supplying the food to the stomach. So these are age-old analogies. You all are familiar. In various other purports also these come. When we water a plant, we water its root. We don't water its branches. We may do it to get some nourishment, but by that watering the branch, the leaves and the branches, the plant is not getting nourishment. If you keep doing that on that, for example, try it. If you want to just water the leaves and leave the roots dry, what happens? The plant may take some of the nourishment on the water for some time, but it cannot last long. If you don't water at all the roots, and don't do that on the plants and make them to die, but then this is, we know that when we don't water the root, the plant will not nourish. And similarly, if we don't offer food to the stomach, that is fine. We can't offer food to anything else other than to our stomach. So it's all given. So this is as much as given, then the worshipping of the Lord should be like that, given, rather than worshipping anybody else. All that has happened because of some of the are written in our Vedas. That is how it has come up. And people want it like that because they don't want anything which is too regulated, too hard upon them. Like, know that, only this, only that. It becomes hard. But in other places, it is like, do whatever you like, just do this, do that, whatever you like, be happy. They want it like that. They want it easy because that's a natural tendency for the living entity to be very easy upon ourselves. That's what we do. We want to be easy upon ourselves and hard on others. That's a natural tendency, right? We want to set rules tight. So we could set the rules everywhere else. But when it comes to us, we keep it very light. We keep it very simple, very low standards. but on others it should be hard. That's what is a natural tendency, but it should be the other way. We put it hard on ourselves, we make it easy for others. That's what devotional service is. We take everything and give easy things. So we do all the stressful things and give something as an offering to the people to enjoy. These festivals that we do and various other programs, what do we make an offering, right? That offering is entertaining. And devotees are doing that sacrifice. And who are enjoying? People. Now, once they're outsiders, they're enjoying it. But once they come inside, they also start offering. They also do sacrificing. So this is how the process works. Whereas they don't want to go, there are directors, and if you go listen to these directors and officers, another example Prabhupada is giving is, the government has the directors and officers. We don't go listen to their what they say, right? We go listen to what government has laid down. So if you go listen to them and bribe them, that's such a big thing, right? We can't bribe the officials. If you do that, we will be screwed up. It's almost illegal, right? So similarly, if you go worship the demigods, you may get things done in a different way, but that's not everlasting. In a holistic, take it up to the whole cosmic manifestation, it is not permanent. It is not lasting forever. You can get it done simply for our sake. It is avidhi purvakam. Krishna is proving it in different ways. And Prabhupada is helping us to understand how it is done by giving the analogy of officers, directors in the government. We don't bribe them. If we bribe them, it is actually illegal. Krishna does not approve this unnecessary worship of the demigods. He is very clearly stating, I don't want this. And is there any questions? I'll move. 24. Aham, okay, who will recite? Kanika, you have been quiet. Can you recite?
Hare Krishna Mataji. I can recite after you.
Yeah. Aham sarva yajnanam.
Aham hi sarva yagnanam.
Bhokta cha prabhureva cha.
Bhakta cha prabhureva cha.
Natumam abhijananti.
Natumam abhijananti.
Tatvena tashvayanti te.
Tatvena tashvayanti te.
I am the only enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature fall down. So, where in other place Krishna said, I am the Lord of all sacrifices? Where?
5.29. 5.29.
5.29. What is the verse? Can you recite? Sudam sarva bhutanam yatva mam shanti. So that is also a memorization verse, right, for you, for the previous module? Yeah. So I am the only enjoyer and the master of all sacrifices, Krishna is saying. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true nature will fall down. How you can also say this when you worship, if you have noticed this in South India or North India, wherever, when you do any demigod worship, what do they say at the end of worship? Have anybody noticed that?
Sarvam Krishna Arpanam.
Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanam. And what else? Yeah, there may be other verses which say that this worship belongs to the Lord, belongs to Krishna, not to this demigod. So basically it is telling that Krishna, Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanam. And we don't say that quite often in ISKCON. Why? I don't want to answer that. You can think. Because if you say that, it is like everything has been offered. What is there to offer? Offering is in the process, right? If you do whatever you like to do and then say Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanam, what is the fun of it? For everything you can say, Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanam, you eat and, okay, I will eat now, but let me offer it this way, Sarvam Sri Krishna Arpanam. So where is the fun? Fun has to be in the process. Fun has to be in the austerity. So in the process of Krishna consciousness, the fun is at the end of, but when we do demigod worship, that is the verse, that is the mantra they recite at the end, because everything belongs to Krishna. Nothing belongs to these demigods. Even for Ganesha worship, they say this verse at the end of on the pujas. So I am the only enjoyer, I am the master of all sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true nature, transcendental nature, they fall down. Please read, Kanika.
Purport. Here it is clearly stated that there are many types of yagna performances recommended in the Vedic literatures, but actually all of them are meant for satisfying the Supreme Lord. Yagna means Vishnu. In the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly stated that one should only work for satisfying Yagna or Vishnu. The perfectional form of human civilization, known as Varnashrama Dharma, is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Therefore, Krishna says in this verse, I am the enjoyer of all sacrifices because I am the supreme master. Less intelligent persons, however, without knowing this fact, worship demigods for temporary benefit. Therefore, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. If, however, anyone has any material desire to be fulfilled, he had better pray for it to the Supreme Lord, although that is not pure devotion, and he will thus achieve the desired result.
Yeah. So, Krishna is saying, I am the sacrificer, I am the master of the sacrifices and everything. If you don't recognize my true nature, you will fall down. What does that fall down means? You don't recognize me and worship me. You go to the other demigods, other devatas. But there is a process, right? You fall down means you will be done with those results. Whatever you get them, they will not be everlasting. And they will not, they are temporary. They'll be done after some time. That is the fall down. So I am the enjoyer, I am the less intelligent person, not knowing this fact, worship demigods, but temporary. So the results that they get from worshipping the demigods is temporary, and that is the fall down of them. So therefore, they fall down to material existence and do not achieve the desired goal of life. However, Krishna has already spoken about, right? Even if you have desires, what is that verse we read in the 7th chapter? Anybody remembers? Is it Chaturvida Bhajante Mam? Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Jana Sukritino Arjuna Arto Jignasurattati Jnani Cha Bharata Shrava. Right? There are 4 types of devotees who worship Krishna, who are distressed, the seeker of wealth, the inquisitive, and the seeker of knowledge, Jnani. Right? So Krishna says, you can still do this by worshipping me alone. And the material desires have to be fulfilled. Better pray to Krishna only. Because it's not devotions, pure devotion. Pure devotion services, we don't want to ask anything. But it's okay to pray to Krishna only rather than pray to anybody else. And that way he will slowly, he'll come to the next platform. And Krishna has already laid that process. Slowly, by understanding how long will I ask the result for this. Let me just give up the ask part of it. Let me just do it so that whatever Krishna wants to do, let him do. That will take time. And that is the process. But at least you're on the right track. The track has to be right. If you are on a different track altogether, come to the right track, it takes so much time. And then from here to make progress, oh my God. You are in 2 separate trains. You're going to one place. You know you have to go and you sat in some other train. And that train is taking you in a different route altogether, in the opposite direction probably. And when will you realize? If you don't realize, you'll end up going there only to the different track. Suppose you have understood that this is a wrong track. Now come back to the right track. From here, go to your actual destination. That will take time, right? Imagine if you sat in the right train, it will take you directly to your destination. But if you are on a wrong track, to start off, first of all, you need to understand it is wrong track. Then make an effort to come down from that and go to the right track. And from here, take the right track and go. So there is so much of time. But still you're on the right track. So once you sit in the right track, you'll reach the destination. Not in the other track when it is not the right track. So like that, we need to understand. At least do Krishna Bhakti and ask Krishna only for the benedictions. Don't ask anybody else because they will give you, not knowing what is most beneficial for you. Krishna may not give us everything, whatever we ask. But that's up for our ultimate benefit only, which we may not see it now.
Like Dhruva Maharaj, he asked for material in starting, but then he switched to spiritual.
Right. Because he didn't want to ask only when he saw Krishna.
Yeah.
We become satisfied. But imagine if the examples that we have were so many demons, like he wanted to, for example, this demon, he wanted to get benediction that whoever wherever he puts the hand on their head, that person should become burnt to ashes. He was asking for that benediction. And who was he praying to? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva then also came and said he was about to give away his body, like each part is cutting, hand, leg, and entire body is cutting into lumps and offering it to the sacrifice to Lord Shiva. Then Lord Shiva appears finally, then says, what do you want? Why are you doing this? Then he says, I want this benediction that wherever I keep my hand on whichever person said, that person should burn into ashes. Lord Shiva approved it.
Bhasmasura, I think, right?
Bhasmasura, yeah, he said,
Yeah.
approved. And then what did he want to do? He said, I want to test this by putting my hand on your head. Imagine, that is how these people, like they can misutilize the benedictions that they get. And now who had to come? Krishna.
Lord
Vishnu had to come and say, oh, what are you talking? These things don't work. Whatever Lord Shiva gives, they don't work. Let's try, put in on your own head and see if it works. It does not work, he assured. And sure enough, he put his hand on his own head and he burned into ashes. So like that. So we don't know what they are asking. So sometimes it can happen. And Lord Vishnu again had to tell Lord Shiva, please don't give such benedictions. Even when Lord Rama, when Ravana was praying to Brahma, he also said, like, I don't want to be killed by this demon, that demon, and all these demons. I don't even talk about the humans. I don't even want to say that in my benediction, prayer. But I don't want to do with all these other people who are powerful people in this universe. Brahma said, fine. Then, what did Lord Vishnu had to do? He had to come in the form of a human being as Lord Ramachandra and make good shot of Ravana. But then Vishnu had to tell Brahma, please don't give such benedictions. Because, it becomes a lot for me. Even Narsimhadev, I don't want this, I don't want that. Narsimhadev had to come in his unique form to fulfill that desire. Sometimes Krishna tells, please, don't do this. Like, I have to really think on so much to get myself into a particular form, what you have given your benedictions to your devotees. It really takes a lot of effort. So be careful what you give benedictions. So we don't know what these people are asking. So better ask Krishna only. Better ask Krishna so that he will purify our desires and give us whatever we require. So 25, are we still on 25? We have two more verses to cover today. Sonal Mataji. Yanti deva vrata devan.
Yanti deva vrata devan.
Pritrinyanti pritirvrataha.
Pitrinyanti pitravrataha.
Bhutani yanti bhuteja.
Bhutani yanti bhuteja.
Yanti majjapino pimam.
Yanti madhyajino apimam.
Those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. Those who worship the ancestors go to the ancestors. Those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Sonal Mataji, please read the purport.
Yes, Mataji. If one has any desire to go to the moon, the sun, or any other planet, one can attain the desired destination by following specific Vedic principles recommended for that purpose, such as the process technically known as Darsha Purnamasha. These are vividly described in the fruitive activities portion of the Vedas, which recommends a specific worship of demigods situated on different heavenly planets. Similarly, one can attain the Pita planets by performing a specific yajna. Similarly, one can go to many ghostly planets and become a yaksha, raksha, or pishacha. Pishacha worship is called black arts or black magic. There are many men who practice this black art and they think that it is spiritualism, but such activities are completely materialistic. Similarly, a pure devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead only achieves the planets of Vaikuntha and Krishna Loka without a doubt. It is very easy to understand through this important verse that if by simply worshipping the demigods one can achieve the heavenly planets, or by worshipping the Pitas achieve the Pitta planets, or by practicing the black arts achieve the ghostly planets, why can the pure devotee not achieve the planet of Krishna or Vishnu? Unfortunately, many people have no information of these sublime planets where Krishna and Vishnu live, and because they do not know of them, they fall down. Even the impersonalists fall down from the Brahma Jyotir. The Krishna consciousness movement is therefore distributing sublime information to the entire human society to the effect that by simply chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, one can become perfect in this life and go back home, back to Godhead. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So those who worship the demigods will take birth among the demigods. This is, we have learned, and Krishna is finalizing it. And those who worship the ancestors go to that particular ancestors. And those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among all such beings. And those who worship me with love, they will live with me. So this is finally he said that about different, this is a pratakvena, right? Different worshippers. So he is concluding that particular section by saying that those who worship the demigods go there, those who worship the Pitrus go to the Pitraloka, ancestors, those who worship ghosts and demons, they take birth among such beings, and those who worship me will live with me. So this is, Prabhupada has backed up this verse with a lot of details on how people will consider some black arts and black magic. They think that it is still fine, it is spirituality. No, it is not. It is simply materialistic, very cheap materialistic activities. But the devotees who worship Krishna, they go to Krishna Loka without a doubt. So this is finally is concluding that particular section where he's talking about the different aspects. And within that itself, he didn't leave it to a later point. Within this section of Pratakvena, different various forms of worship, he has already inserted that beautiful verse, Ananyas Chintayantyoma, which is the pure devotional aspect of it, that his personal care for the devotees is already done that. Now he is going to talk about the glories of devotional service from in the last section, the 26 to 34. Very beautiful verses will come up here. So in this, he is going to talk about the details of the devotional service, the glories of Krishna Bhakti. What is the glory of Bhakti? Which is where he starts at text 26. Did anybody have a question?
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji.
Mataji, this particular 9.25, Pitri Deva, Yanti Deva, Pitra, like, Pitri Deva, yeah, sorry. Yanti Deva Devrata, Pitra Yanti Pitrvrata. So, Mataji, in that one, we are here because of our ancestors. Okay, obviously, Krishna is a source, but their madhyam are this, our ancestors, they are our blood relative. To what degree we should, because they were our relative, to what degree we can worship and not worship, and totally we cannot forget them, right? So what degree we should worship? Obviously we don't want to go to their planet, but we cannot totally ignore them. So keeping, like, even a picture is not considered to be good idea, or remembering to certain extent is okay. And especially some people, they do every Amavasya, they do the, like, some activity for the satisfaction of their pitar. And some people are taking also going to the holy river Ganges and all, and they do, like, especially the Shraddha time, that the karma kanda they do. So to what extent we can go? Thank you, Mataji.
Pritr Vrata, these are ancestors. These are not, what I understood is, these are not those, our family lineage people. These are really Pritras. We don't know who they are. Like, they are very elevated souls, not what we are thinking as our ancestors. Our ancestors, if they have made progress, they will go on their path. Or our family members, if you are thinking like that, there is a special day in the year that we do offerings to them. So that is there. That is recommended. It is Vedic. It is prescribed. It is definitely because of our consciousness to be proper also. Otherwise, we will think we have understood everything, all the science essence of Krishna consciousness. We don't need to. We haven't come to that stage. So it's very important that we stay grounded and do these rituals which are important. But this Pitraloka is the ancestors. These are not our ancestors. These are a specific category of ancestors. And people worship those ancestors to go to that place. They are also, it is also one of the higher planets. It's one of the higher planetary systems, similar to the Devata Lokas. These are also ancestors. So they are not our family members. If our family members have become qualified to go there, they might be there. But we don't know what our family members have. Where are they? But this is that category, not what you're thinking, Mataji. I hope I made that clear.
Yeah, to some extent, Mataji, still I'm confused about it. Because those who are our Pitas also our ancestors only. So obviously we will be worshipping little, but whose are these? Saying there is a certain group who worship the ancestors. So what kind of ancestors are those then?
They are different. Like I'm saying, these are not the ones that we are thinking our family members from previous generations. These are not those. These are highly elevated people. These ancestors are elevated. They are in a higher planetary system. They are not not the same planet as we are. They are higher planetary system. These are, and our family members, based on their activities, on how they led their life, we have read through so much what we have read in Bhagavad Gita that there is a way where they go, what they do, if they have made progress to go to heavenly planets, and they can keep going from there. But if they haven't, then they go through this cycle of karma process, coming back in the material world in one of the forms, in the human being or some other form, either demigod or some other. But this is our family members, like what you are talking about. Maybe if you are talking about your parents or even grandparents, like that. But the ancestors, like in this particular words, are different. These are not what you are thinking as your family members. I'm again repeating the same thing that I said. Who they are, they were elevated personalities, not demigods, but they are ancestors. People worship them also to go to that planet because it is a heavenly planet. Pitraloka is a heavenly planet. Okay? Some people worship that, they go there. Some people worship demigods, they go there. Some people worship Krishna, they will go there, like that. And Krishna is making a point that whoever you worship, you will go there. And he made a point about Devatas and Pitris.
Like some people, they worship saints, the highly elevated souls, the saints and all. They consider them as their like a kind of ancestors because they live in the ashram with them and all that. So maybe they are worshipping them and following their things.
We don't know if those people have gone to Pitralokas. We don't know that. If these people are worshipping some saintly people, we don't know where that saintly person is. If he has made progress to Krishna Loka, then praying to him is definitely better because it is in the line that we are aspiring. But if he has gone to some other planet, what is the point? We think he may be saintly, but we don't know what is the saintliness that they have achieved. They have to be backed up by scriptures. Everyone that we are praying to need to be backed up by scriptures. Otherwise, any people can come up with these days. There are a lot of people who have some following and they show up as a saintly man. They may not be.
That's true. Yeah. So what about let's say our parampara? Obviously, we worship our in the parampara, all guru follow that. So it's a worship, right? So how we can put in that category?
These are the Krishna Bhaktas in the parampara. That is why we are having in this parampara. They are Krishna Bhaktas. They have come here for some specific purpose. They are not ordinary people. They're very, very specific. For some purpose they came. All these, and there are some role they had in the spiritual world. They have some role in the spiritual world, and they came down to fulfill some specific purpose. So praying to them, it is aligned to the bhakti process.
Yes, because I think when we say Rup Goswami, like the Rup Manjari and all that, right?
Yeah.
So because they have connection to the spiritual world, right?
Right. And what is the purpose? Are we asking them for, give me this benediction of, give me this money, give me this thing? We are not asking them that, right?
Only Krishna Bhakti.
We are asking for pure devotional service, which is aligned in the process.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji.
I hope it answered you, Mataji, because I know this can be tricky sometimes, ancestors.
Yeah, because sometimes some people say, I mean, doing like, during the, that comes, right, 13 days, that is like Karm Kanda. That's not recommended. One who is doing the devotional service, chanting, following the rules and all that, they don't have to go follow this Karm Kanda.
That is
Simply
what I'm
chanting.
telling, it is immature. If you do that, it is immature. If people think that I have matured enough, that I will not do this karma kanda ritual of putting Shraddh in those 13 days, if they stop it, that is immature. Because they are still in the process of purification. We haven't purified yet. We need to follow that important process because this is our offering to them, which is important to show some gratitude. It is important.
True.
This is not applicable for, say, probably sannyasis, because sannyasis, they sacrifice everything. They sacrifice this family, and by taking the order of sannyas, their entire, and they doing devotional service in the mode of sannyas, they are actually purifying their ancestors in a different way, right? But for
Yes,
everyone else, this is important that they do. If they stop it thinking that they are in the Krishna Bhakti, they don't have to, then their understanding is premature.
Yes, Mataji.
Okay. This is my understanding. Yeah. Yes, we have to still cover one more verse. Debbie?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I was just slightly confused about the ghosts and spirits, worship of ghosts taking birth with ghosts and spirits, because usually the materialistic view is that when you die, some individuals become ghosts and spirits. So when it's saying the birth part, that kind of confuses me, but is there like a planet for the spirits? And so that's what it means, that you have a desire when you leave your material body, and because of that, you're going to get the ghostly planet because of your activities, your karmas. Is that what it means? I was slightly confused about that. And then is it even those people that do black magics and do like all these horrible things, are they the ones that get this destination?
It is, Krishna says, we'll take birth among such beings. He's not saying we'll go to that planet. The ghosts and spirits are all over. There's
Okay.
subtle bodies.
So they're even in this earth, this planet.
Right, they're all over. So if you continue to aspire to certain type of ghosts and spirits,
They take birth among them, but they don't take birth as them. Thank you. I got confused.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Palak?
Mataji, just a clarification on your discussion with Vyamdada Mataji. So, did you mean that considering we are practicing devotees and we have not achieved that state, so we should be performing the rituals during the 13-day period of Shraddh, whatever is recommended? Because I think I have heard that people who are in Krishna consciousness, they don't need to do this. They are not required, but now I'm confused.
Yeah, I said it. Have we purified? We are chanting Hare Krishna. Have we become purified? We haven't become purified. We have to follow the process. This is showing our gratitude to our ancestors, in the sense, in our family lineage. It's only your lineage, your previous generations. It's right. It's not to everybody else who are ancestors of whoever, like these Pitris. This is our own lineage people. We need to show some gratitude to them. If they can become better by offering to Lord Vishnu during that time, why not? It's also part of devotion service.
Mm-hmm.
If you are
Okay.
offering to Vishnu during that time, can help someone make progress in their own journey of Krishna consciousness, why wouldn't you do?
So, okay. Two questions here. The first one, how do you identify that you have purified? Like one example that you gave was of sannyasis, which is something very evident. But if you are in Krishna consciousness, how do you identify that you've purified to that level that you don't need to? And then the second question is that I don't get the concept of the this thing because we don't know where they are. They have taken another birth, or they've probably reached another heavenly planet. So assuming, so let's just say if they are back to this earth in some other form, right? Be it human or whatever. So how are our prayers affecting that soul? How does this work?
So prayers affect no matter where you are. See, when we do offerings, when we distribute Bhagavatams, we can distribute Bhagavatam to our ancestors, this says. That we can distribute on their name. Give this Bhagavatam set so that someone in your family, on behalf of that soul, so that they make progress wherever they are. So the prayer works. The prayers go in the subtle aspect. It's going to the soul. Wherever the soul is, may the soul make progress if we do it on our behalf. This is how it works. The prayers work it like that. So what was your question? That how does it work? It works like that. That is the potency of the prayer. It can happen. The person might have left the body long back, but you can still do some prayer for their soul in the current situation, and it goes to them. And wherever they are, that's why whatever we are doing, don't think this is only our doing. Only because our own strength, we have come to this point of performing Krishna consciousness. So many people are praying on our behalf. We don't know how many people are praying for us to be here, to do what we are doing. It's not just yourself who have made it to come to this point. We might be getting offerings on our soul, for our soul from the previous lives. Who knows? It can happen like that also. That's why it is very important. We are in the mode of service, right? Service goes like that. Wherever you are, you can offer services. The services can be cooking prasadam, helping someone physically to do things. Service is also prayer. Prayer, sit wherever you are. So in book distribution, we are not able to go. But we make offerings, we make prayers to the Lord. So may there be good book distribution so that souls may benefit. We may do some progress in the book distribution. So that prayer is potent because it is not for self. It is for the cause. It works. This is how it works. The prayers work like that. It is a medium of the prayer. It is a soul-to-soul connection. And who is taking that prayer? Super soul. Super soul is taking that prayer from one soul to the other and he is distributing that. This is how Krishna operates. This is how prayers work. I hope that answered.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. And the first question, how do you identify that you have purified to that level that you don't need to perform these rituals anymore, apart from if you're not a sannyasi?
Yeah, we just do it till the end of our life. We just do it as a service because it's a service, right? If you think that is a service, you won't stop it.
Yeah.
Everything that we do in this life is a service only. If you think it like that, there's no stoppage. Even in the purified state, you do service. Devotional service that's why it's devotional service. Service in whichever state, in the beginning, in the middle, at the end. The service continues. Krish Keshavan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji, this is in regards to Premata Mataji's the Pitru Dan and the Gaya stuff. I'm reading from here. The great sages and saints are promoted beyond the heavenly planets to Maharloka. In creation during Brahma's day, the three planetary systems, Swarga, Marthya, and Patala, revolve. And the inhabitants, including the lower animals, human beings, demigods, and pitas, are appear and disappear in terms of their fruitive activities. That means pitas are not pitrus, they are not human beings, they are kind of demigods, and pitas are different, like they are not humans. They are in a different loka.
Yeah, Pitra. That is what? Pitra Loka is a different Loka. It's a higher planet.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. It Pitas means it's not Pitru. In this verse, it says Pita, not Pitru.
Which verse is that? Which scripture?
It says in this purport number 25,
Here?
it says, or by worshipping the Pitas achieve the Pita planets.
Where, Prabhuji?
Yeah, it's not saying Pitru.
Where in this purport?
Yeah, in 25.
We read it.
Yeah, it says it is very easy to understand through the, where is it? Pita.
It's a line that says heavenly planets or by worshipping the Pittas.
Yeah, achieve the Pita planets, not Pitru.
But when we say the shloka, then we say Pitran, right? Yanti deva Pritrvatra. Pitra,
Yeah.
we say Pitra there.
Yeah, in the sloka it says Pitra, but then in the purport it says Pita.
Right, but it is
Yeah.
written the same, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
Prabhupada is
Okay.
written as Pita. The Pitras are another way to say is Pitas.
Got it. Okay, Mataji.
These are higher planetary systems, like I said. Beyond that, I don't have a lot of information. These are definitely not, these are higher planets. And these people have gone there by doing certain specific worship. Whatever it is that I don't know.
Thank you, Mataji.
I hope that answered. Or at least put some light on it. We can keep exploring. Bhagavad Gita is never-ending study. You can keep your thoughts open towards it, getting this knowledge from wherever you hear something, you can connect the dots.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Mataji.
26th verse, last verse for the day. Who will read? Narnarayan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Patram pushpam palam toyam.
Patram pushpam palam toyam.
Yo me bhaktya prayachati.
Yo me bhakya prayachati.
Tadaham bhakti upahatam.
Tadaham bhakti upahartam.
Ashnami prayatatmanaha.
Asnami prayatatmanaha.
If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Let's read a big purport. It's too big. We have not much time. But yeah, let's read. Narayan Prabhu, please read.
Yeah, the whole thing? Start. Okay. Purport. For an intelligent person, it is essential to be in Krishna consciousness, engage in a transcendental loving service of the Lord, in order to achieve a permanent blissful abode for eternal happiness. The process of achieving such a marvelous result is very easy and can be attempted even by the poorest of the poor, without any kind of qualification. The only qualification required in this connection is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. It does not matter what one is or where one is situated. The process is so easy that even a leaf or a little water or fruit can be offered to the Supreme Lord in genuine love, and the Lord will be pleased to accept it. No one, therefore, can be barred from Krishna consciousness because it is so easy and universal. Who is such a fool that he does not want to be Krishna conscious by this simple method and thus attain the highest perfection of life, of perfectional life of eternity, bliss, and knowledge? Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more. Krishna accepts even a little flower from his pure devotee. He does not want any kind of offering from a non-devotee. He is not in need of anything from anyone because he is self-sufficient, and yet he accepts the offering of his devotee in an exchange for love and affection. To develop Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life. Bhakti is mentioned twice in this verse in order to declare more emphatically that bhakti or devotional service is the only means to approach Krishna. No other condition, such as becoming a Brahmana, a learned scholar, a very rich man, or a great philosopher, can induce Krishna to accept some offering. Without the basic principle of bhakti, nothing can induce the Lord to agree to accept anything from anyone. Bhakti is never casual. The process is eternal, is direct action in service to the absolute whole.
We will pause there, Prabhu. I think the next Okay. Let's expound on this first and then go to the details of the other. So what is Krishna saying? Krishna saying is that if you offer me with love, the love is important. With love and devotion, a leaf, a flower, a fruit, and or water, I will accept it. So this is what Krishna's requirement is. He is not asking for big offerings. Anybody, this particular word starting is the glories of bhakti. So glory, when you do, bhakti process is so simple that even if you just offer water and fruit or little leaf or whatever simple thing that is there with love, that is underlined, Krishna will accept it. So it doesn't need big qualification. So there was a question, the poor people will not be able to do this. Sometime back we had that. Not everyone has access to this. But Krishna has made it so simple that everyone can have access to it. It is not something grandeur. It is simple. Whatever you have with you, you can offer. And after this, he will say one more thing, which we will not do today, but tomorrow. But this, so isn't it that simple that you can just offer a leaf, a flower? Leaf will be like tulsi leaf or whatever leaf. Maybe Krishna is not even specified which leaf here. Offer a leaf, offer a fruit, offer a flower, or some water, I will accept. He did not say, give me some rice, give me some dal, give me some sweets, give me some milk. He did not say. He made the bar very low, made it very simple that you can do this. But devotees, out of their affection, they don't just offer a fruit or a leaf. They might do that along with something else, which is more pleasing to ourselves. We are doing it for our out of our own pleasure to the Lord. Krishna is not aspiring for it. We do it because it helps us to make progress, not because Krishna wants it. Everything that we do in devotional service is benefiting us. So when we have come to that stage, when gopis, whatever they do, they are in the stage where they are giving benefit to Krishna. Whatever we do, we are getting benefited. So that is a difference. So when we can say we are purified, when we know, or when some soul knows that whatever thing that we are doing, offering our service, we are doing, when Krishna is taking pleasure in it, that means we are purified. If we are still in the process of, we are making progress by offering our food, whatever we cook, whatever we eat, then it is our own progress. It is not because Krishna wants it. We should do it in our own interest. It is for our own self we should do, not because Krishna is looking for it. However, his requirement is very simple. We just have to do it very simple. And let's not read everything, but this can be misunderstood, right? Sometimes. Let's read this. Okay, let's also read this particular section. Continue, Prabhu.
Here, Lord Krishna, having established that he is the only enjoyer, the primordial Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveal what types of sacrifices he desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme, in order to be purified and to reach the goal of life, the transcendental loving service of God, then one should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna and gives him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked. Thus, meat, fish, eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offerings, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requests that a leaf, fruit, flower, and water be given to him, and says of this offering, I will accept. Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish, and eggs. Vegetable, grain, milk, fruits, and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving devotion if we offer such foods. In the third chapter, verse 13, Sri Krishna explains that, that only the remnants of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancements of life and release from the clutches of material entanglement. Those who not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are only eating sin. In other words, every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of material nature. but preparing nice, simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture or deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering, enable one to advance steadily in life, purify the body, and to create fine brain tissues, which will lead to clear thinking. Above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food since he already possesses everything that be. Yet he accepts the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering is to act with love for Krishna. The impersonalist philosophers who wish to remain that the absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad Gita. To truth is without senses cannot To them, it is either a metaphor or proof of the mundane character of Krishna. They speak of the Bhagavad Gita, but in actuality, Krishna, the supreme God, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute, lacking senses. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the 7th chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon the material nature. And so in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotee's words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. This point should be emphasized because of his absolute position. His hearing is wholly identical and his eating and tasting. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that the supreme absolute truth can eat food and enjoy it.
So many points. Prabhupada has clearly mentioned that Krishna is only asking for Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, which is Bhakti Uparhatam, which is tinged with love. And Krishna will eat. Whatever you offer, Krishna will eat. And Prabhupada has made it clear that we cannot offer whatever you eat also. No meat, no eggs, no fish, no all that. Only whatever Krishna has asked in that line. Grains, fruits, milk, products of that. And also, Krishna eats not just by his eyes, but by his mouth. He can eat just by hearing us offer. That is where when we recite the morning prayer, what is the morning prayers while recitation of darshan? When we take darshan of the Lord in the morning, Govindam prayers we recite, right? There are 2 verses that we recite. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti. Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajan. Angani yasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. All his angas will do the activity of all the other angas. For us, we just see, and we only see with the eyes. We eat with our own mouth only. We cannot do with mouth, talk and eat. We cannot smell with the mouth. We cannot eat with the eyes like that. But Krishna can do with his senses anything that he wants. Sakalendriya, angani yasya sakalendriya vittimanti. He can do anything with any of the others. So just by us offering, just the prayer that we are offering, Krishna is already eaten. That becomes prasadam. This is the mysterious process of bhakti. That is the true devotee, pure devotee is able to relay that to us. Otherwise, Krishna said, offer fruit, flower and all that. The pure devotee has enunciated that, it made it clear that only these offerings are required. And by your offering, just by hearing that you are offering, Krishna is satisfied and he will accept that. And that becomes prasadam. And this doesn't need a lot of qualification, doesn't need a lot of money to do this. This can be accessed by anyone, anywhere in the world. It doesn't need a lot of material qualification. I agree? Yes, you had this question last time. What can only poor people, this is not accessible by pure, but pure people have a heart. If they can know that Lord has to be offered, they can just offer water also wherever they are. This is accessible, it's a universal. And Krishna will not give something which is only accessible by certain sections of the society who are top class, who can make great meals and offer him. Yes, it has to be accessible. If it is universal, it has to be accepted anywhere and any time also. Time, place, circumstance shall also taken into consideration. We can offer. You had a question?
Yes, Mataji, it's a different question this time. So, just like, and forgive me for asking this because I have not read enough, but just like it's whatever is written in the verse here, it says leaf, flower, fruit, water. It does not talk about, as you said, tulsi leaf specifically. And also, we do not eat garlic and onion. I think I understand the reason that we say that it has Rajo and Tamagun, which is not good for us. But Krishna doesn't say that he wouldn't eat it. And here, I think even in the purport, it's mentioned you don't offer the meat, fish, and eggs, but still no mention of onion and garlic. So where does that come from?
So, again, we go back to the context in which Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield. Krishna is already speaking a lot of details about himself and pure devotion service. And to speak about all the other aspects of what can be really offered, he made it very simple that this is in this line you can offer. Now, if we go into the details, the context in which Bhagavad Gita is being spoken will not happen. It was spoken in 45 minutes, 700 verses, so that Arjuna can take up the service of fighting in that battlefield because everyone is waiting. So he just took time for 40 minutes to explain the various aspects of the nature, consciousness, and all the details. That 5 topics that Bhagavad Gita comprises of. What are the 5 topics? The Jiva, Ishvara, Kala, Karma, and Prakriti. These are the 5 topics. You've read that in the introduction. So these aspects is covering in various topics. So in that way, he has made it very simple. Simple process is explained. We need to go detail. There are Vedas, there are other scriptures which talk about what has to be offered and what not. And there are scriptures which talk about why onion and garlic are not recommended and where they come from and all that. This place to speak and put it in Bhagavad Gita was not recommended. That's why we have pure devotees. That's why we need to read the Shastra by approaching a guru. If we interpret, then we say, okay, we can just offer this and anything else that we like. But pure devotee is already telling you cannot do that. You can only do this. And Prabhupada would have given about this onion and garlic in various other places, or he would not even told also. But he ensured in his teachings when he did it as an offering, he told about it. And devotees are following. Right? So we have to approach it through the Guru. We cannot do on our own. It becomes very difficult to follow. And we may not get the desired result if we do on our own. Just because Guru has told, if we do it, there's a lot of potency in it. There's a lot of power in it. And by doing that, executing the order of Guru, that is the order of Guru, right? When you execute the order of Guru, there's already so much of potency. There's so much of Guru Parampara that is backing us up. So that way there is power in it. It doesn't mean that in this particular verse it is not said, but in other places he has told, he has given it in his teachings. That's what we So Krishna consciousness is a process. We cannot take anything out of context. Whenever we read, it has to be contextually. And if someone is saying something, in what context? That's why it's very important to back everything by Shastra and also to look at the context. The context of Bhagavad Gita, where it was spoken, was on the battlefield. That subject itself was heavy in that situation. But adding more details to it would not have. Otherwise, it will become like Bhagavatam, which is bulkier, 12 cantos. So that's why we have Bhagavatam to unpack this.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, any other doubts on this particular verse? Patram Pushpam Pralantoyam. Gyan Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Madhu. Thank you so much for the class. I was a bit late to join, so I was not able to get all the classes. But yeah, towards the end, in this particular verse, Lord says He accepts whenever a devotee offers Patra Pushpa Phalatoyam, all this with love. But there are certain regulations of deity worship. For example, while worshipping Saligram, we have to be Brahmin initiated, or there will be certain mantras. And when someone touches the Lord, the deity of the Lord, without certain processes, there will be severe offenses. So there's another saying also that Lord Krishna is Bhavagrahi, Bhavagrahi is Janardana. So how to comprehend those aspects, Madhavi? Because Lord, on the one hand, he says, I accept anything whoever offers me with love. And on the other hand, there are so strict rules that if someone commits a simple mistake, then there will be severe offenses. So
our Krishna consciousness is based on two studies. One is Bhagavad Dharma, Bhagavad Marg, and other is Pancharatrika Marg. Bhagavad Marg, Pancharatrika Marg. Our Krishna consciousness studies or the process is being laid out by a blend of these two. Bhagavad Marg is by reading the scriptures and one Bhagavad. The other is Pancharatrika is the process of worship, deity worship, as laid out by the Pancharatrika Vidhi by Narada Muni. Narada Pancharatra. Based on that is our Pancharatrika Vidhi. Worship of the deity in the temple happens like that. So as for the deity, that detail, one has to be initiated. One has to be initiated, otherwise it becomes, and the mantra has to be given by the spiritual master, otherwise it becomes, it doesn't affect. Because the mantra is available everywhere. If you want to read scriptures, the mantras are there. What effect, if you read that mantra without getting it directly from a guru, what effect will it have? It will not have. It will not have, that is because Guru has said it will not have. Although there is a scripture in which the mantra is printed, you can read it. But it will not carry the same potency because it has not come in the disciplic succession to you. So in the same way, Krishna understands the mood. No, if you want to do this, Krishna will ensure it happens by your desire. That is Bhavagrahi. He understands your Bhava. So he will ensure that you become situated in that initiation process, so that you become qualified to receive the Diksha from your Guru and then do the worship in such and such way. Does it make sense, Prabhu?
yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So Krishna understands your mood. He understands your mood. So he ensures that this, so that's why everything in this world is operating on the reflection of desire, right? Did we not talk about that? Desire is that thing that keeps this entire universal things happening. If you desire for it in this way, it will happen. That's why our desires have to be purified. Our desires have to be in alignment to the process. Desire is very important. As much as the activity is important, as much as intention is important. This intention and desires are almost same, can change, be intention. But that is very important. And Krishna looks at the intention. Like the examples that we have, I also quote that about Putana. Her intentions were bad. And Vritrasura's intentions were good. He was a devotee. He wanted to offer the battlefield fighting with the demons as an offering to Krishna. Krishna accepted that offering. Vritrasura was a demon. He was fighting against Krishna's devotees, which are devatas. And his intention was to give pleasure to Krishna by fighting against devatas. That is very complex to understand what Krishna's intent. And Krishna has ensured that Vritrasura be killed. His demon devotee be killed by his devotees who are devatas. And Krishna has ensured that, and Vritrasura has understood that. And he has offered his services in the form of fighting with his devotees. He is a demon. And he has ensured that he fights with his devotees and offer that as an offering to the Lord. Krishna is taking the essence of it. And who did he glorify here more? Devatas or Vritrasura? Vritrasura is glorified everywhere. This unique scripture that is Bhagavatam, within which there are other places where they talk about Vritrasura story in a very, very glorified way. That's unique scripture where there is a story of Vritrasura is the glorified scripture. They say like that. And who is glorified? Not Indra, but Vritrasura. That is where Krishna takes the essence. That is how he is called Bhavagrahi Janardana.
That is.
And this will come to you through your Guru. If you aspire for it, ask Guru. That's why Guru is there. The medium of Guru is important. 4th chapter, 34 verse. Approach a Guru, do service. Because a Guru have understood you, he will give you. And then it will carry the potency. Shalini, I think we need to wind up. I have other things right now. Yeah.
Okay, I think that's fine. It's just I was still confused about the answer because on the same lines as Bigyan Prabhu said, if I wanted to, let's say, offer kheer to Gopinath, I can't do it because I'm not initiated. Even if I may have that bhava, I still cannot do it. So that is,
You
I
offer
was
it at your home to Gopinath
No.
picture. You think he will not accept?
I don't know.
He
You
will.
tell me.
He will accept. If you offer to same Gopinath in the picture form at your home, he will accept it.
Okay.
You may not offer on the altar because there is
Yes.
Pancharatrika Vidhi associated with it. You need to be twice initiated and also
Yeah.
trained in priest, sorry, a pujari. It's a lot of process, a lot of training. But you can offer it to him in the picture form at your home. He will accept.
Okay.
That
Okay.
is
That's great.
Bhavagrahi.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for clarifying. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I thought we'll be done today at 6:30 itself. And a lot of time beyond. Thank you very much for today's class. We will meet tomorrow again and we'll finish the 9th chapter tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock. We are good for 10 o'clock, right? We need to wind up tomorrow at 11:30 because you have your recitations immediately. Thank you. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo anantakoti vaishnavini ki jai Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A wonderful rest of the day and we will meet. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.